Well, hello there, friends. It's really good to see you guys today. I am Melissa, for those of you that are new with me today, and I am a grieving mother. And today I wanted to talk about, kind of switch gears a little bit. And today I wanted to talk about our teenagers and our other kids, basically, and how do we help them and ourselves in grief. So we're just going to jump right in, friends, This topic has always been heavy on my heart from day one. We have 5 children, and our 2 youngest children, Sophia and Noah, are in heaven, and our oldest son is in prison for 96 years, sentenced for murdering his brother and sister. So we went from a family of 7 to a family of 4 in the blink of an eye. And I'm always wondering from the very beginning, how do I help our 2 teenagers at home? Our son was 14 when this happened, and our daughter was 12. Those are pretty crucial ages, and they all are. And now our son is 18 and our daughter is 16. And to have to grow through your teenage years in heavy, deep grief is definitely not for the faint of heart. And it has been a major undertaking for our family, majorly so. And there's a quote that Winston Churchill said, and I wrote it down because it just fits. Winston said, "If you're going through hell, keep going." Well, that's about how I kind of can feel around here on some days. We feel like we are just going through hell. Well, we just got to keep going, don't we? My teenagers definitely keep me and my husband sane, and they keep us going. So their lives in themselves, if it wasn't for them, I would probably definitely go crazy. So would my husband, if it wasn't for my husband's job, or even for the job that I had for 3 years out of these last 4 years. But anyways, yes, but definitely our kids, and I'm sure to any parent listening understands fully well how much we give of ourselves for our kids, and that they are a great distraction from our own self-pity, depression, all of those things. We want to make things better for our children. We want life to be nicer and kinder for them, but grief, this is difficult. And I'm just going to touch on it just a little bit with this video. And I think what I'm going to be doing is making several videos after this, in small little pieces at a time, of the emotional, social, physical impact of our teenagers, because they have them too. And I have spent these last several months doing lots of videos on the adult perspective and from my perspective and my experience. And I think it's definitely time to move into the teenagers in our house, because we have people with small minds in our house that are dealing with heavy grief. And it hit Hannah and Elijah hard. It did. They were shocked, stunned, devastated. They were. They still are. Me and Vinny, we wanted to help, but we just didn't know how. We all miss Noah and Sophia, and even Malik. Our children were pretty close. They were. Malik was the oldest, and his siblings looked up to him. They admired Malik, and they hung out with Malik a lot, and Malik hung out with them. Malik didn't mind them playing video games with him, chilling on the couch, playing sports, all kinds of stuff, watching movies together, activities. So when a child dies, and in our family 2 children died, their siblings are uniquely affected. They are. And 2 of our own have disappeared. And their absence is very confusing to our teenagers. You know, their little minds wander and spin around, you know. They ask a lot of questions within their minds. Like, what does death mean? Does it hurt? You know? They also think or ask, did only a part of Noah die? Did only a part of Sophia die? Where is Noah and Sophia now? Will they come back? Will we see them again? Will they grow up too? Or will they always be this age, 7 and 5? What's it like to die? Will I die? Will it be soon? Will I be murdered too? The questions, these silent questioning, it goes on and on and on in these children's minds, teenagers and kids' minds. It really does. You know, their young minds and hearts are just struggling, trying to desperately grasp this unthinkable tragedy. Yeah. Some kids go internal, some act out. Our teenagers have done more of going the internal route. It's more of their personalities, and so they've definitely gone more internal. They have gotten angry. Many kids get angry. Ours have too. And temperamental and moody. And for those of you that have teenagers, they can be temperamental and moody on a good day or on a menstrual day. It's probably very difficult to even try to imagine your temperamental teenagers having to deal with heavy grief. And you know what? There's a lot of them that are. And they don't get the recognition, the acknowledgement that their bleeding hearts need as well. And because so many of them will go internal, we can be very mistaken that things are okay with them, that they are handling this grief just fine. That's not true. And their grief, does spill out, and it leaks out in the most unexpected places and some of the expected places. Some of the siblings, they have dreams or nightmares, you know, and Elijah, he's more verbal about those, so I can actually say that he has them, but he's talked about nightmares. 4 years still nightmares, you know, flashbacks, revisiting, reliving the moment when he was holding Noah and finding no pulse on Noah. 14-year-old kid holding his brother whose life is gone till the emergency help arrives. That is not a place for a 14-year-old to belong. That is not a place for him at all. And he has suffered a very devastating loss. And so has Hannah. And Elijah and Hannah were great big brothers and sisters. And they had Noah and Sophia looking up to them, admiring them, wanting their attention and their everything. And then it's gone. They walk around here lost at times. The quietness of our house gets to them even too. They've told us so. You know, some siblings take on parts of their deceased siblings' personality, you know, such as their likes and dislikes. You know, we've seen that. I've seen Noah's friends and Sophia's friends draw pictures, do a lot of picture drawing. You know, children have many ways of remembering their brothers and sister and keeping them alive in their hearts. They do. And they just don't always share them with us. But if we as the parent are able to take a moment to sit down with the child and the teenager, you will be pleasantly surprised on the ways that they have already been working on in their own little minds and hearts to keep their brother and sister alive in their hearts. As parents, yeah, we are definitely on grief overload, for sure. We yearn for Sophia and Noah, and we hurt so much for Elijah and Hannah too. So it's like grief piled on top of grief. Like I said, grief overload. Our hearts are doubly crushed as parents. They are just doubly crushed. Parenting right now feels about as doable as swimming across the ocean unassisted with no help. That's like how it feels. And sometimes there is just no shore in sight in the ocean. It just goes on and on and on, with lots of danger lurking underneath, a lot of depth that we cannot see. Yeah. Even with our other kids in the mix, our focus still needs to be to grieve responsibly and in a healthy manner. And that's very challenging. All of these things are challenging, very much so. So, we love our other kids by first taking good care of ourselves. Once again, it's that age-old philosophy. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, kind of a thing. If the marriage ain't good, well, how well as the family is, And even in grief, same type of a concept. We've got to take good care of ourselves the best that we are able to in our grief. We do, so we can be of any use to the children that we still have in our home. And I know that is very difficult to do, and I still struggle with taking care of myself, and I've realized that if I don't process my own grief, it will leak out in ways which will not benefit my family, and it doesn't benefit my family, and vice versa. When our teenagers aren't processing their grief, it leaks out in ways that doesn't benefit us either as a family unit. Part of taking care of ourselves is being honest with our children and what happened, according to their age, obviously, and their ability to understand. And ours were 12 and 14. We had to be honest with them, and we still are honest with them when they come to us with questions. Yeah. I think children and teenagers, they got a pretty good sense when they're being lied to, or when the information is being left out, and that is not helpful in a grieving process. They know somebody's missing from the home. They know that person is not here anymore. So we just need to be really honest about where they are, what's happened to them. We need to express our grief as parents and be real. We do. We need to show our kids, our teenagers, how to grieve responsibly. This hurts. It's confusing, and it is so painful. Their brother and sister have been murdered by their big brother. They are not coming back. None of them, all three of them, are not coming back. And we just all miss them terribly. We do. We just miss them terribly. And we are trying our damnedest to adjust together. We still love these children. We still love Noah and Sophia. And we will talk about them, share stories about them. We celebrate their life. And we'll get better at celebrating their life, But yeah, we still love them. They're not here with us, but they're still a part of our family. They are still my children. They are still a part of this family. They are still Elijah and Hannah's brother and sister. And that we try our damnedest to make very clear to them. Kids grieve differently. They grieve over a long period of time and in spurts, okay? That's what I've observed. So we need to be, as their mother and father, as the parents in their lives, the adults in their lives, we need to be good listeners and very, very keen observers. Yeah, we got to really watch them, watch their behaviors, listen to the tones in their voices, and really listen to them. Their grief will spill out in snippets, sound bites, sudden tears, and bursts of anger. Okay, so lastly, we are nuts if we think we can handle this ourselves. Okay, because that just ain't gonna happen. We need to involve other people who are supportive and know what they're doing. A child's death impacts the entire family. So as much as possible, we need to do this together. And that is my encouragement to you. Do not try to do this on your own. We have to involve other people who can be supportive and hopefully know what they're doing. But, and a lot of family can forget about the teenagers in our household. A lot of family can forget that Elijah and Hannah are grieving too, not just mom and dad. Not just mom and dad are having a hard time breathing. Not just mom and dad are having a hard time waking up in the morning and getting dressed and going about their day. Our teenagers are too. They are too. And they need our prayers just as much, if not more so, than mom and dad. So we will find ways to grieve together. Noah and Sophia are missing, and everyone in the family, we feel it so acutely. We do. We feel it. We know it. It's not like one of those things like, I feel like something's missing here. Just don't know what it is. Oh, hell no. We know who's missing. And we feel it. So yeah, we all gotta breathe deeply. Take some good, slow, deep breaths. Take some timeouts. Have some allowances for our teenagers. Some days it's okay if we only do half a day of school. Some days it's okay if we call in for work. We just have to do one small step at a time. And that's my encouragement to you and to your families and to the children that you still have in your home. One small step at a time. Another grieving parent wrote, "Remember, you will feel alone, but you never are. Be open to help. Look for supportive people." From another grieving parent. And yeah, we definitely have to go looking for supportive people at times, don't we? They don't always just fall into our lap. And then other times they do. God's ways cannot be figured out. That's for sure. Oh, friends, thank you for allowing me to share my heart with you today. Thank you for allowing me to share our grief with you. And you share your grief with me, and we can do this together. But yeah, I'm going to start doing a lot more talking on some teenagers, do a little bit more specific things onto each one of them, share what has been successful for us and what was not successful for us, and what we have failed at miserably, and what we've seen some luck with. Well, friends, it's Friday, so TGI Friday. I guess when you see the video, it'll probably be Saturday, but whatever, you get my point. Oh, well, it's so good to be with you guys today, and be well today, be blessed, and I will see you on my next video. Take care today.